Walsh, and I will be doing my presentation on the increase in youth anxiety, depression, and suicide. So some definitions just to get you guys a little more familiar with what this project is on. So depression is just basically the feelings of severe like sadness and melancholy, despondency, and dejection. Anxiety is a feeling of worry or nervousness or unease. It's typically about an event or something with an uncertain outcome. And then suicide is the act of intentionally causing one's own death. So a few warning signs of depression. So feelings of sadness, emptiness, hopelessness, restlessness, and lack of energy. Outbursts of anger, irritability, frustration, agitation, and anxiety. Loss of interest in once enjoyable activities, so like things that you used to find pleasure in, maybe like now you don't. Sleep disturbances, either sleeping way too much, not sleeping enough, reduction in appetite. I also know that you could have an increase in appetite as well. It really just depends on how you cope with things, because some people cope by eating their feelings and some people cope by not eating at all. So some signs and some symptoms of anxiety. Feeling nervousness, restlessness, feeling tense, having a sense of impending danger or panic, just like thinking that something bad could go wrong right now, and you could get hurt, or a terrible thing could just happen. Experiencing an increase in heart rate, hyperventilating, maybe excess sweating, maybe trembling, feeling weak or exhausted, anticipating the worst, and irritability. Some warning signs of suicide. So a person thinking about or threatening suicide or seeking a way to kill oneself. Increased substance abuse, maybe drinking too much or smoking too much, or maybe getting involved in other harder drugs. Feelings of being trapped, anxious, feel like you're hopeless, you're worthless, your life has no purpose. Social isolation, withdrawing from activities, from people, wanting to be alone all the time. Expressing unusual mood changes, so maybe like going from extremely sad to happy to angry just quickly. So student depression is on the rise. Here's some statistics about how depression has increased rapidly for teenagers. 12 to 17 years old are the teenagers that are experiencing the highest rates of depression, but also 18 to 25 is up there. It's up there as well. So it says, an analysis of a federal survey shows increasing rates of teen and young adult respondents reporting a major depressive episode in the last 12 months. Rates have stayed more consistent among older adults, because the older adults haven't really seen an increase or decrease. It's been pretty constant. But what's so drastic is the 12 to 17 and then the 18 to 25. Trends in suicide. And suicide has also increased pretty rapidly for 15 to 19-year-olds. This is where we're at now. This is 2016, and it's still continuing to go up. pretty drastically. So U.S. teen and young adult suicide rates are their highest on record right now. It's been a pretty large jump because it decreased and then now it's skyrocketing. Another chart just to show you guys the depression, anxiety, behavior disorders by age. Like you can see the jump from just 6 to 11 to 12 to 17 for anxiety and for depression. And then I have a video. The rates are rising rapidly. Let me get this video set up really fast. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, not good. It's being very complicated. Okay, I'm just gonna put you down really fast while I get this set up. Alright. Gonna watch this video really quickly. Really sorry about that. We're just gonna get this YouTube. Alright, so depression and suicide rates are rising sharply in young Americans. New report says this may be the reason why. So let's get back onto this PowerPoint. And we'll just keep it going. So some statistics that I pulled from some resources. Just between 2009 and 2017, rates of depression among kids ages 14 to 17 increased by more than 60%. The study found the increases were nearly as steep among those ages 12 to 13 and 18 to 21. Rates roughly doubled among those ages. In 2017, the latest year for which federal data is available, more than 1 in 8 Americans aged 12 to 25 experience a major depressive episode. And then the same trends held when the researchers analyzed the data on suicides, attempted suicides, and serious psychological distress, a term applied to people who score high on a test that measures feelings of sadness, nervousness, and hopelessness. Among young people, rates of suicidal thoughts, plans, and attempts all increased significantly, and in some cases more than doubled between 2008 and 2017. So what do we think has caused the increase? I think it's pretty crazy that it's really just among this generation that it's been so high, and definitely thinking that social media has such a huge impact on this generation. Like everybody's always on their phones, everybody's on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, and just really comparing comparing oneself to others around them, that definitely is not something that has helped this issue. Gaming, like playing video games, I feel like those games that are really vulgar and like scary games definitely doesn't help. The ones of like killing people, because then that could leave room for like fantasizing about killing oneself or killing somebody else. Smartphones, basically the same thing with social media, digital media, technology use, they're all very similar. The need for social connection, we all desire to be wanted, we all desire to be needed, we all desire to have friends, and if we don't feel loved or wanted, then we feel like there's no point, so news and media, again, like comparing yourself like to supermodels, or comparing your life to a famous person's life, increased competition, lack of sleep, because when I know that when I lose sleep or when I don't get enough sleep, then I am just not the same person. You need that energy to live. Bullying so bad, and so common, and happens so frequently, especially behind the screens, like especially all these kids that can just hide behind a screen and bully one another. And multiple of these factors could come together and be the cause of this increase. Basically, just like I said, so like texting, Snapchat, like bullying, just phones, and disliking, and just all the things that we talked about, really just the social media, and I think this picture just describes it perfectly. So how to treat this increase? So it depends on the severity. Talking about it is definitely helpful. Seeking therapy, seeking counseling. Medication can also help. SSRIs, antidepressants, anxiety medication. Encourage communication with the youth. Talk to them about how they're feeling. Check in on them. Reach out. Physical activity definitely helps increasing your metabolism, and it decreases stress when you are active. Adjusting sleep patterns, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, making that a priority in life. And these are my references. And that is my presentation on the increase of youth anxiety, depression, and suicide.